Hey folks, Jonathan here. Back messing with the Dodge a little bit. I think we're going to see if we can drive this thing. I've still got one tire flat. The other ones didn't go down, surprisingly. But that don't mean they won't, but matter of time. But what we're going to do first, of course, everybody seen before I had to replace the ignition box, ignition module. It actually went bad on it. But what we're going to do now, I checked the fluid. I started it up at idle, checked the fluid, and of course it's as low as can be, so we're gonna get some fluid in it. And it's not getting gas real good. I don't think my tank is, it's not real high, but I had taken that filter out. There's a filter in line after the fuel pump here that we'll probably replace, but I'm going to check this tank out and see if I can find see how bad it is, let's put it that way. And the whole time that we've started it and run it, we've gotten nothing out of the hose. So either we don't have any fuel in the tank or our fuel pump's not pumping at all. But we're going to see if it'll move first, and then we'll go from there. Let me get some fluid in it and we'll fire it up. Okay, we got some fluid in it. At idle in neutral, it's reading 1 pint. Or almost a pint low. So I'm going to get our gas can set up here. I looked up under it, and it looks like this thing had a drain plug on the fan, and that might be what's leaking, because it looked like it was maybe torn off at one time. Probably can't, but looks like it might have been torn off at one time, and somebody either welded it back on or put some Permatex around it or something. So we may have to address that issue, but see if it's going to move. Boy, she needs cleaned out bad. Oh, she's pulling. All right, let's try reverse here. Oh yeah. Seems to be moving good. Went right in gear. So now we just need to deal with the fuel issue. We may have to pull the tank off, but we can get some fuel to it. I seen we got a little bit of a water antifreeze leak too. Now this is where I dripped the transmission fluid, but that shut off is seeping a little bit of water out. The hose is close to the header. You can see they've got it tied off to try to keep it off of it. So need to address that also, but everything else so far is looking pretty good. So we're going to see if we can figure out some gas situation here, and I'll show you more. Okay, here's our center unit for our tank and the pickup. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off and pull it up out of the tank, and we'll be able to at least see what we got for inside the tank, and I will show you when I get it up. Ooh, this is not good, folks. I don't even think I'm going to mess with this tank. I think I'm going to take it out and find something to mount on the frame. The float's even cracked in it there. If you can see that. Boy, she's in terrible shape. It's not only rusted, but it's got that damn varnish in the bottom of it. So I think we're going to we're not even going to mess with this tank. And a lot of people like them moved up under anyway, and I mean, I don't mind these tanks, but I don't want to mess with that one. Not with that much rust and crud and crap in it. So hopefully we can find something to go up under it, and this will come out. And I'd love to find an old bench seat to go back in here. I might take a ride to the to a junkyard down here. It's not too far from me, and see maybe if they've got a door, or at least a bottom hinge. Missing the door panel. I don't think it's in the back of it, but it's a metal door panel. and I need a hinge. I can buy a whole door down there, $40 for non-power and $50 for power. So for 40 bucks I can get a whole door. And you know, if I can find one that's not rusted at the bottom, it'd be nice. And I don't think I'll get lucky enough to find a baby blue one, but you never know. Sometimes I get lucky like that. But I could look for a tank down there, but I don't think I probably won't have any luck. I mean, even if I find one, it'll be just about as bad. So I think we'll just come up with something to mount. I don't know if we got room up under or not. Yeah, we can come up where the spare was. And do a little change in there, maybe mount it up in there. And I do see wood up under. Now that is, oh, that's plywood. Someone's put plywood on it, and then they covered it with steel on the bed. That's the first time I've actually looked up under the back of it. But so anyway, putting the brakes on this thing until we can find some kind of tank for it. I guess 10 years was just too much for it. The Ford wasn't in that bad a shape, and it's at 35, but the gas that was put in it 35 years ago was probably a lot better gas than this gas that was put in it 10 years ago. And so that's 10 years, so you can imagine what it'll do to a electric fuel pump on a car, you know. Anyway, so we'll see what we can get figured out on that. And maybe even clean the back out and run me a temporary boat tank or something back there, just so we can take it for a drive and maybe see if we can make sure everything's gonna be okay on it. But anyway, all right, show you more. Okay, we've got us a very temporary fuel system on here. I just ran into the line with a fuel hose, come out the window, come around the back. I've got a jug in there, and so we can run it. I got something in there where it don't tip over, which we're just going to drive around the driveway, so I think we'll be fine. But what I did was I actually took a bottle and set it here and started it up. I'm going to do that again because I want to make sure I got everything cleaned out of it. And here's what we got out. I don't see any dirt in it, so evidently the fuel pump and everything was nice and clean inside. And there's, like I said, there's a filter after the fuel pump too. So we'll start it up and let it go. Let it drain a little bit more in there, and then we'll get it hooked up to the carburetor. See if we can get some permanent running here. Oop, I gotta hook the battery cable up. This thing's got a brake light on the back right that stays on, so I don't know if the brake light switch is stuck or what, but I know the brake pedal was stuck all the way to the top, and I pushed down on it, and it seems like I got a good brake pedal, but we'll see. Yeah, she's flowing really good in there. Fuel pump's good. That's good news. We don't like buying stuff we don't have to buy it. Let's pull it off there and look at it. Yeah, good and clean. I don't see any anything floating, any flakes or anything in there. So we're gonna get this hooked up to the carburetor and get her running, and then I think all we need to do is get some air in that tire. And once we do that, I think we can maybe move this thing. Hopefully if we got some brakes on it, we'll see. Okay, we got our fuel line hooked up. We'll see if we can get it up there. My only fear now is that, you know, with having fuel pressure and stuff to it now, is that the float may stick and flood out like hell. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, got a fuel leak. That's never a good thing, especially when you have headers. Yeah, we got a fuel line leaking. Maybe a couple of them where our filter's at. So, okay, we got plenty of hose. Let me do some fuel line fixing here. I'm glad I noticed that. It blow back on the header and have a nice fire. All right. Okay, folks, both of them lines was leaking top and bottom. You can see it's split right down the side, and that's just a case of cheap-ass fuel lines. And we've got some new stuff we'll put on it. Yeah, that just got old and weather cracked, and you know, all fuel line don't do that. I've seen fuel line that was, you know, 30, 40 years old, you know, there was no problems, but that's just cheap fuel line. All right, we're gonna try her again. See what happens this time. No fuel leak, that's a good sign. Seems to be taking gas a lot better too. Now we gotta get some air in the tire. Let's see if I got a breather for that thing. All right. Okay, folks, first drive with this one. Got your mind outside the, well, on the door post here. I don't know how that's gonna work out. Might shake a little bit, but anyway. First drive, I think we're gonna take it down the driveway. I don't know if we're gonna do, we might try to do a burnout. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. Make sure we got brakes too. The damn seats sit way too low. I feel like a little kid in here. Definitely need a hinge. Now it is bleeding over a little bit when you let it sit, so the carburetor needs built, but it really needs an Elderbrock or something on it. That carburetor's too big for this engine. We shut it off and it bled over. Like I'm sitting on the floor in a sports car. Oh, we got brakes. Well, that's a good thing. Well, I couldn't handle the seat for long. It's pretty easy to have a little steering wheel, no power steering. Seems to drive really good. Now the question is, I think I'll set the camera up over there and see what we can do. Alright, maybe that'll work. Alright, she does a pretty good burnout. Runs real good. Yeah, I'm gonna check and see, make sure this could be a 360 in this too. We don't know yet. So we're gonna get her cleaned up and get that tire fixed where it won't leak back down, and do a few other things to it. All right, folks. Looks like motor transmission's pretty good in this thing. Got a little power too. Surprised me. Tire's back flat again. It's been a couple hours since I drove it up here. But I think next thing we'll do is pressure wash it and clean it up and see if I can find some parts for that door, or maybe a whole door. And we'll get that figured out and get that wheel and tire off, get it busted down, get the bead fixed. And get the back cleaned out, because it's a damn mess, and inside. But we're still gonna figure out what we're gonna do on the gas tank. But Anyway, I had to put a ball joint on my my old 57 International, old rat rod. It actually dropped the ball joint coming in the driveway and sit down, and I should have known better. I hadn't checked everything out on that front end, and everything's non-greasable, so because nothing's been replaced on it. It's on a 91 Chevrolet frame, so it's time to go ahead and rebuild the front end. I think I'll order some drop spindles and stuff. I was going to wait and go ahead and order them, but I needed to go ahead and get the ball joint in it. So that's done, and working on a few other little things, but we'll get on this thing, get her cleaned up, and see what she looks like, and maybe take it down the road here shortly. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Bye.